Finally, as most in our community know, the Board of Education approved a facility strategic plan in January after years of work by dedicated faculty, staff, administrators, and community members. One of the most obvious needs among many facility needs in our district was the building of a preschool to educate our youngest students, both regular education students and special education students. This project and the entire facility strategic plan are bold steps to move our facilities forward for our students, staff, and the whole community. Some of our facilities are well over 100 years old, and we needed a bold move to move us forward and improve them all. The Board of Education was very clear on multiple occasions that this is a process with many steps, and the board would do their due diligence at each step. As part of that due diligence, all structural planning and operational concerns were addressed over the last 5 months. The need for preschool education, not daycare, as some have so unfairly called it, has been supported and applauded by research, educators, our governor, and locally elected officials. One elected official was quoted as saying, "The importance of early education cannot be stressed enough, as it will pay dividends, not only for them, but serve as the building blocks for our state's future. This investment in New Jersey's next generation makes us stronger and better prepared for the challenges of tomorrow." According to the state of New Jersey, in a March 2025 report on preschool, children who attend the state preschool program had lasting effects on achievement in language arts and literacy, math and science, and that those achievement effects were roughly twice the size for children who had 2 years of preschool versus just 1. The study also found that preschool participants reduced grade retention by 15 percentage points and reduced the need for special education services by 7 percentage points. Yet, the idea for preschool and the project itself has met with some concern and some very negative comments about the children that would be educated in that facility, and false comments on the size of the facility by referring to it as a mega preschool. In spite of numerous presentations, meetings, a traffic study, a step-by-step process where the board diligently assessed each phase, and revisions to the plan based on the concerns expressed by the community, the board has asked that the preschool project be temporarily put on hold at this time. Sadly, the ones who will lose the most from this are those who can't stand up to speak for themselves, and that is our next generation of students. But I want to be very clear here. The board and this administration remains committed to helping our youngest learners so that all students have a strong foundation for the future and for their success and ultimately all of our success. That ends my report.
Thank you. John Muka.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for the time that I have to speak to you this evening. I want to address some issues about the Robinson Pre-K project. And first of all, it's on hold. Nobody knows what that means. How long is it going to be on hold? What's the situation? What are we going to do next? You know, we're always being characterized as people that don't understand the value of pre-K. Well, I think it's very disingenuous because we all realize that there is value in that. And we don't want to stop pre-K in Hamilton. And we don't want to put it on hold either. We want to have a discussion about the best way to do it here. And I'm afraid when you look at the map of the Robinson School site and you put that building on it, it does seem like a mega pre-K. And it feels that way to the people in the neighborhood. And since it's 3 to 5 times bigger than any other pre-K operation in our little community of Hamilton, it's not a bad thing to say that it is a mega pre-K. Now, I'll clear up a little bit of economic education here. So I've been asking about how much is the interest that we're going to be due on $18 million of bonds. And you know, again, we get half of the story and then we're supposed to go away. Well, of course, we don't know what the interest rate is going to be when the bonds are finally placed. But when they do get placed, it's going to be astronomical. Because right now, the interest rate is 3.59%. And when you take $18 million of bonds, you are going to be responsible for $640,000 worth of interest every year that those bonds are outstanding. So that adds up to, over 10 years, $6.4 million of interest. So that's over half of what the state is going to give us as part of building that building. So we should take that into consideration. And similarly, if you borrow money on bonds for the pool project, well, that's $4 million worth of interest. Now, I understand that we don't want to raise taxes, but we're willing to spend $6 million of interest and more or less throw it away, just so we don't have to ask the permission of the taxpayers to spend money for these projects. So I think it's time we own up to this. We put it as a referendum, which is probably what it should be. These discussions belong in a town hall style meeting where we can have back and forth and not have some silly rules about not answering questions as they occur when we're talking about strategy. Thank you. Greetings, everybody. I'm John Muka. As you've seen at Wednesday's school board meeting, the mega pre-K at Robinson was placed on hold. Now, I don't know what exactly that means. It was very unexpected. At the last meeting, Mr. Kanka was talking about bids going out in July to get the construction started. And all of a sudden, it's on hold. And, Dr. Rocco was telling us what the school board decided. I'm not sure why the board president doesn't give us that information. I only used 3.5 minutes of my 4 available minutes, and we had a lot of other reasonable and articulate speakers get to the mic as well. So take a look at the longer 40-minute YouTube video when you have the chance. In the meantime, stay alert. We don't know what on hold means or how long it's going to last.